In this video, we're going to look at how an editor can add folders, templates, and resources to Pocket Reporter for journalists to use. So when someone opens up the app the first time, the first thing they will do is select their language. In this case, I'm selecting English. And before we can start the story, we select a broad category or folder that might contain templates, questions, and resources. So we can see gender violence, elections, legal, etc. Let's look at how we set up one of these folders. In the admin section, in the content manager, I'm going to go over here to new folders. Okay, when you first use it, it might look like this. You might have this summary on the right hand side for what all these questions are on the left, all these fields on the left. You can just turn this off. I find it personally a little bit confusing. So I'm going to add one here called technology. And we can add optional translations for the title in case somebody logs in under using a different language. And then we can actually choose an icon here. I'll just use the Wi-Fi one. And we can select predefined templates. So these templates are questions. And we can add, these have already been defined, so I can add biography to it. I can even add another one by selecting here. Let's say crime, technology and crime go together. And there we have, and we can also add optional resources, which can be images, documents, links, all those kind of things. Once we're happy with this, we're going to save it. Saving does take a little while, so you must just be patient, but it is working in the background. Once it's complete, you'll see entry saved. And we say changes. The interesting thing is when you first save it, it actually immediately makes a little change, which means it's still unsaved. So at this point, you can actually also save it again before it actually saves properly. So now what we'll see is on the second save is that this will change to allow us to changes have been saved and go back. Let's just give it a moment to finish up. There we go. So now we can actually go back if all changes have been saved. So right here we can actually delete this if we wanted to. We can also check the preview of it, and we can also set the status and publish it. You cannot publish it unless the status is set to ready. So right now I'm going to set it to ready, updates it, the status, entry status updated, and I can publish it. Publish right now. Are you sure you want to publish this entry? Okay. So now this is going to publish. Now when you press publish in Pocket Reporter CMS, it will start a build process in the background and it will build the app. Now how do we know? If we go to the front end here and I refresh, I'm probably not going to see it here immediately. Yeah, it's not here. So where is it? Well, the build process takes about 2 minutes to work. So in the documentation, you'll see that you can go to this link, the site's Pocket Reporter deploys, and you can actually see what it's up to. So right here we can say create folders technology. There we can see it's just started a build there now. So give it maybe 1 or 2 minutes, and once this is complete, we'll be able to refresh and we'll see it on the front end. I'm just going to quickly pause the recording here. Okay, after a little while, if we go back, we can see that it has now been published. So if I actually go to the front end now, and I do a refresh here, we should see a technology folder pop up. And there it is. And inside this, we'll have our biography and crime, the templates that we added. Excellent. Now let's go and see how we create new templates and add questions to it. Now I'm going to go to the templates. Right. So now let's create a new template. So we added biography and we had crime. Let's add another one called... Okay, so we can perhaps make this, for instance, let's make this research, technological research. And we can add questions. So here we can add questions in different languages, and they are all optional. Remember, if you first add them, you might see it like this. This is going to be a summary of what you see here. It can be a bit intimidating. Let's switch that off. It doesn't really matter. This is what we're interested in. So let's add a new question here. It already opens up with the first one here ready for you to go. So you've got a question here. And let's start with what is the research field. Doesn't really matter in this case. And then a description. This description can be just something that will be added to the question to help a journalist and explain what the question is about. And then, of course, we can add optional translations. As you can see, they are all optional. And they will just, if they are there, they will appear for that selected language. Otherwise, they won't. And if we wanted to add an additional question up here, you can just say add questions, and that will appear down here. So if you have lots of questions and you click this, you might have to just scroll down to go and see them at the bottom. Okay, so we got there one question, and we've got it there. We didn't add any translations. I'm going to save this. An entry has been saved, and the same as with the folders, we can delete the unpublished entry, we can check the preview, and we can change the status. But if I'm going to change the status now, let's quickly see. If I change this to ready, entry status has been changed, and we can publish it if we want to. I'm not going to publish it right now. I'm going to quickly show something else here of where we can do that. So if we go here to the workflow up here, we can see now we haven't published that one, so that one is going to appear in the workflow under, so we had our technology is over there, that was over here, questions, research. I did mark it as ready, so there it is. So now I can actually publish this new entry. And entry has been published. Now again, this sets off, of course, starts a build process in the background. Takes about 2 minutes. So I'm just going to go over here, and I'm just going to refresh here. Yeah, there it's created templates research, and it is building. And I'm going to pause here while that builds. Right, after a moment, I've gone back and I've looked, and it has been published. What we need to do now is we need to add our new template to our technology folder. So I'm going to go to folders, technology, and I'm going to skip the translations, and down here I'm going to add a template, and we should not see it down this list. This list is kind of limited, but if we type in here research, it should come up there. There we go, there it is, and we can just now save this. You don't need to publish every time. Publishing is actually really only if we want it to appear on the front end. So you can save stuff and then publish it later as well. They will then appear under your draft work, and then in our Netlify workflow we can move them over to ready and published. But I am actually going to publish this. I'm going to set the status to ready. Entry status updated, and I'm going to publish it. Are you sure to publish this entry? Absolutely. Now, because I've chosen publish, it's going to start the build process for the app. And I'm going to just have a look here, and there it begins. So I'm going to just pause here while this does it. Okay, once it's been published, we can go back to the front end, and I'm going to have a look here. And we should see it here. There it is, research. That's the one we added just now, the template that we added to this folder. So let's quickly look at how we do resources. Adding resources is exactly the same as working with folders and templates. So I'm going to add a new resource here, and a resource can be a document, just plain text, PDFs, images, anything like that. I'm going to add one here. We're looking at our technology folder, so let's call this, for instance, data wrangling. And I'm going to add an image here that we've already uploaded before. For this one, I'm just going to use this one. But we can also add documents, etc., optional translations, and save it. Entry has been saved. I'm going to go and once the entry's been saved, I'm going to set the status to ready, and it's updating. Entry status updated. I'm going to publish it right now. Are you sure to publish it? Yes. Excellent. The entry has been published. I'm going to just press save here one more time. Okay, when we go back to our resources, we can see data wrangling here. I'm going to go to my folders. I'm going to go down to technology, and I'm going to add this resource in here. So I'm going to go down here, resources, add a resource, and it's over there, data wrangling, and I'm going to save this. Going to set the status to ready, updating the status, entry status updated, and I'm going to publish this now. Right, this is of course going to set off our build process, so we can have a look at this here. And if I refresh here, yeah, there it is, actually building the technology folder again. Right, once this has been published, we should now be able to go to our app report, Pocket Reporter on the front end, and if I refresh here, we should hopefully see it come up here. There we go, data wrangling additional resources. Open this up, and there's the image that we added. And that is pretty much how Pocket Reporter works.